Hey Carl, I'm gonna just run through a couple options that might help your friend play seated a little bit easier. So I'm on just first tee out on a course in practice mode so I can make some adjustments. In real life, I'm sitting down. One thing that's helpful to know off the bat is that when you recenter, you can recenter looking forward and it will kind of just place the ball at a set distance from you. But if you recenter with the club on the ground, it'll place it exactly in front of you. That's going to be a lot more important to a seated player because you obviously can't stand up and physically aim left or right to adjust your aim or adjust where the ball's at in your stance. So if you recenter with the club on the ground, you'll see that little yellow circle and it'll drop it right in front of the club. You can also close the face or open the face to give you a bit of left or right aim to that. So that'll give your friend the ability to kind of tweak their setup a bit more at address. And then, obviously, like you can smack the ball relatively easy sitting down. There are a couple options if your friend can't get a lot of speed in their flick. You can go into settings, swing, and then each club has its own individual power assistance, so you can kind of dial in what you need. Or to start out, they can just go to this global option at the top and calibrate club power. You can only do that on a tee box, so I'm going to get my ball back here. Settings, swing, global, calibrate power. This is going to ask you to take 3 swings, and it doesn't really matter how you hit the ball, just take the swing you're comfortable with. And then it's going to adjust all of the clubs in your bag to match the power that it now feels you need. Previously, I was at about 8% with my driver. Since I was swinging easier sitting down, then it bumped me up to 47. And what that power assistance number is going to do is essentially we have a stock yardage for each club. Like this driver is a 305 yard club, so the power assistance is seeing what my normal swing speed is like, and then it gives me a boost so I can reach that around that 305 mark out there. So you see, even with just a relatively gentle seated swing, that one got up there to 305 and come to a stop at 307. Now that helps a lot with the power of playing seated. One thing that is still going to be a little awkward with seated play is the club, as you'd expect, sits at a pretty flat angle. Obviously, as you've seen, you can adjust to that and kind of just get a feel for it, but for me at least, I generally have to aim very far right if I'm playing seated because that flat club has a tendency to make me go left like this. So obviously you could aim right or get a little more used to the seated play to get really dialed in with your distances. But there's also the option, if I go into the settings menu and go to controls, and then I can go down to this attachment menu here and choose custom. This is generally used to set up an attachment we don't have an option for in the menus, but you can also use it to reposition the controller relative to the club. So since I'm seated, I might want to do something like this to where a real smooth wrist flick will take me more smoothly through the ball. So now I can get that club at a bit more of a upright position and deliver it a little more closely to how a stand-in player would deliver it. And there's definitely going to be some trial and error to this, figuring out what works, what kind of wrist mobility and speed your friend can get up to, but there's definitely tools in the game that'll let them play comfortably out there on the course with you.